I didn't shut it. How do I shut it off? I don't know.
You know, again, we're just doing a lot of the same. We moved a lot of the puppies around. All of the pokies are now down in the barn. So when you guys watch the arena cam next to Walter on down, those will be all pokies. They're going to be individual now. So a lot of my group came up to Nut and Deagle. So we're just kind of moving everybody around, giving them different environments to be in. Hopefully a little less peeing in the barn. That's a goal.
That's mine.
But a lot of just the same training. TJ Maxx today, CVS. We go to a lot of the same places. Leahy, that's my new favorite place to go from the hotel with my group.
What?
Leahy, that outpatient building.
Oh, over there on 62?
Yeah, because it's just got everything. You know?
It does.
You got the stairs, the elevator, the hallways, the
hallway
sitting
is
areas.
There's never anybody up there.
On the third floor where that OBGYN is, you can go and fall and do whatever you want to do. So we have graduated from the hotel's a good first place because it's very quiet.
Yeah.
Although that place is quiet too, but you have to either ride the elevator or take the stairs to get up to that third floor. So once they conquer the hotel, then Leahy's a good next.
And these guys are coming along really well.
They're doing a great job. I really don't have anybody in my group that isn't making great progress and seems happy.
I never thought we'd have 31 people.
I know.
I never expected to have all 31.
It's a
They're
lot.
lovely. There are a couple with longer legs,
Yeah,
but not many.
but all of them have a really solid
Solid dogs.
square body and
Good attitudes.
great. There's a few that are have a little, sass to them, but
Yeah.
nothing that's really stood out that's like, I'm really happy with my group for sure. How are the starlets doing? Gronk, Clark, Merle, and Ava doing with their training? They're all doing really well. Megan and I talked today, and dare I say it, but I think a month or two.
What?
I said, dare I say it, but I think a month or two out for that group.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
That's my opinion. They all are doing excellent. So hopefully they can find their matches in the next few months. Why did SDP begin to feed puppies on the little and big feeding tables? How did it start? That might be a question for you. They're asking, why did you start feeding on the feeder? Or how did you design that? Or
I hate to admit it, that's so I didn't have to bend over.
okay.
It actually started with the photograph where I had the picnic table.
Yeah.
And I used to feed all 8 dogs at once. And I used to put out the empty bowls, and I had a big pot, and I just used to,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah. That's why I had the chef's
But it
hat on.
kind of now serves a dual purpose, though. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny. It's funny you talk about bending over because we moved 4 of the big dogs down to the barn today, so I fed them outside, and I fed them on the big feeder, and I was like, this is kind of weird. Like you guys are up here, and I'm usually,
Right.
down here. So it was kind of nice.
Yeah. No. And then it just became. There are a lot of bonuses for it.
Yeah.
I want to see that they can stand on their hind legs. I want to see how their back legs look when they're standing there. They're less inclined to get in a fight if they're already on their hind legs.
Interesting.
There's a little bit more of a division. And when I fed the 8, I had them 4 and 4 on a picnic table.
4 on each side.
4 on each side, so I was down the middle with the scooper.
Yeah.
And there are pictures around of the 8 on the back deck eating.
And did you design the feeder?
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay.
Oh yeah.
And then when did you guys, because it was here as long as I've been here, when did you design the little one? Shortly after?
When we needed it.
Okay, I didn't know.
That's how we do it around here.
Well,
When you need it, you
I didn't
design
know it. How long after you designed the big one did you have
No,
the little
'cause
one?
the big one was really the picnic table.
Gotcha, okay.
And then we just decided to improve the efficiency because scooping down the line
Right.
was really a bit much. So then I ended up feeding 4 at a time and reaching over. And so we just grew from that.
Thanks.
One of those feeders does feed 8 though, right? The others are 6.
The little one feeds 8, the top one feeds 6.
Yeah.
But we haven't fed that many dogs at once in quite a while.
Well, we did the other day for the camera club.
Oh yeah, Megan did, yeah.
It was
But
a little-
normally,
it was a
today,
little hectic.
today we, at most we'll do 4
Yeah.
at this age, but. Let's see. Are the dogs ever fed eggs?
Sure. If we get too many, and we can't remember how old they are, we make a big pot of scrambled eggs.
There you go. Let's see here. Hello, hello.
If they ever eat raw eggs, every time we drop one, they eat a raw egg.
My Dane Bentley is hello, my Dane Bentley runs, gallops everywhere. Not so good in the house and around small children. How do I slow him down? Wiffle bat? That could be a solution. Let me read that again. Runs and gallops everywhere. You could put a leash on him inside your house and make him walk next to you.
Yeah.
And if the rope leash might be a good.
They have to learn whoa.
Yeah, so if you're walking around the house,
Yeah.
and you can have him right by your
yeah.
side, and learn to match your pace just walking through the house.
Yeah, well, what you don't want to have happen if you're standing there with a wiffle bat, you don't want him to turn around and run the other way and knock 6 people over. He has to learn the word whoa. And that's either outside or inside, on a leash.
Right.
Make it whoa, in no uncertain terms.
So, yeah, I would say start with a leash first, even inside your home. Are you wearing your neck sign that Carlin gave you when you go out? Yes.
Good.
Although I think I should have a modification on it because it says on there, "Don't take me away in an ambulance."
Oh, okay, well,
And I think it should say instead, "Please call the farm."
okay.
Because I'm like, if I need to go to the hospital, I probably should go. Maybe that they could call the farm to let them know
Okay,
that
well,
the
we
dogs.
discuss that with Teresa. We'll make that
So
one.
I think it needs a little bit of modification, but yes, I do. Do the pups train differently in the cold? No.
Whoa, well, wait a minute. As far as I know, when you get out of the car and they know the building is warm, they move much quicker toward the door of the building. And that can be a problem in the summertime because they're used to getting out of the car and running for the warm door.
Right, right. Today, when I was at Leahy, it was very windy out, and so sometimes they're going fast just because of the wind whipping, and maybe it, added to the cold weather, the coldness of the weather. But in general, I mean, they're in a warm car.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it changes anything. Yeah, thanks for telling us where the dogs have been moved. It's nice to know they're getting a variety of environments and fun for us to know who is where. Yeah, so if I remember, I made this whole diagram today about where we were putting, and I took a picture of it to send to Shannon and Megan so they'd know. So if I remember, I'll try to post it later and you'll know who's where. But that could change literally at a moment's notice. Do you ever have anyone say anything negative to you when you leave a dog in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. I don't do it in the summertime. If I feel it's too hot, I don't do it at all. This time of year, with the age that my group's at, I'm really only in the building for 10 to 15 minutes, so it's a really short period of time. So the cold is really not a factor. We have a ton of fluffies in the car. I haven't had anybody personally say anything to me
I've had people lecture to me.
about leaving them.
Yeah, I mean, I never would do it, even when it's even slightly warm out, because
Yeah.
the car gets so damn hot.
Right.
Everything is black and it just heats up. And I've done experiments with thermometers on dashboards, and it's horrendous. But in this cold weather, I've had people come and lecture to me about leaving the dog in the car
In a
when
cold car.
it's cold.
Yeah. I'm like,
No.
it's a short stint. Like, literally, the moment it gets any kind of warmth out, we go back to one dog per car.
Yeah.
But
And
we
it
try
has-
to take advantage of when it's
You have
mild.
to, because at this time of year, I mean, to go to where you're going to be training
Yep.
and back again, you've got an awful lot of mileage.
It's
And
mileage,
if you can
time.
Stack it up.
Even right now, if I have like Olivia going with me out training, we'll put 4 in a car.
Yeah.
And you can get 4 dogs done in an hour, you know. And with 30 dogs, you really have to take advantage. So that's the answer to that one. Is that a clicker? Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not a clicker. It's just my hairpin. They think I'm using a clicker.
We don't clicker.
We don't use clickers, but that's just my hairpin, and it's like
Because a clicker,
a pin
you
that.
can go with your face just faster than you can find the clicker in your
That's
pocket.
right. That is so right. Whoa and wait. 2 of the best words a dog owner can learn.
Yep.
That's absolutely right. And leave it. Yes, that's a good one too. Do you know if Wrinkle has done an overnight yet? If yes, did she try to escape? I believe every Pokey has been on an overnight now, and I don't know the answer to the latter part of your question. But all of the Pokies have been, and about 5 or 6 in my group have been on overnights. Looks like that's all. Hopefully, let me refresh, see if I missed anybody. Oh, what's the hardest part of training, do you think? For me right now, the hardest part of training is thinking about the dogs that I didn't get to that day. It's just when I wake up in the morning, I have this plan. I really want to, you know, we each kind of have our groups that we're working with, and my group is rather large. I have both the calories and the minions, so there's 18. And for one person to get quality training, it's just not, I know it's not possible for me to get them all off property every day, so lately I've been trying to maybe get half of them out and then make sure I at least work on downstays with the other half in the feed room, because obviously I can get through 8 or 9 dogs in a half an hour, 45 minutes, just a quick downstay. But that's it's just tough for me that I just go to bed at night and I think about the ones that I didn't get out. So. In the summertime, do the dogs have kiddie pools to cool off and play in? They do. We have a couple here on the property that are shaped like bones that we had out last summer. We'll get them out again. Huh?
We have an honest to goodness pond.
Yeah, and we have the pond on the property that when older dogs usually go in there and run, and some of them get in the pond.
In the mud.
In the mud. We have several Boo and a Riot pictures of covered in mud from the pond. When do you stop rewarding a behavior with a treat, and how do you know it's learned and now a behavior for a reward?
We don't treat for.
Well, I mean, I feel like
treat when you're all done and it's a nice happy
so,
time to give us a treat.
Well, but if you think of it, to me, I associate the spoon feeding as a treat, and that's sort of associated with the weight and the. You know, it is. I mean, it is. And then we use cookies to come into the kennel. We use cookies for recall on the property, but they're really young. And really, the time that I take the dogs off property the first time, so that was a month or 2 ago. I don't bring treats with me.
No.
Well, I do. I bring them in the car, and then once they've completed their outing, they get rewarded in the car. And then eventually I don't ever give treats out.
Yeah.
I just don't. I transition a treat to a lot of praise and pats, and
the only time we give treats religiously is when you're putting the dog back in the kennel. And that must be done or I'll have a heart attack.
Right.
Because you watch all our dogs readily go in their kennels.
They go in and they turn around and they look at you and they wait.
You, and you better have that treat
there.
there.
So
if I see that on camera, you're going to catch it.
Yep. Yep. So in my,
So a car is almost the same thing when you're out.
You're just completing that.
Jump in the car and I'll get you.
You did a good job. But out in public, I don't use it. I did have a dog today, Reese, who walks behind me. And in fact, it kind of stumped me because I hadn't really had a dog do that. So when she's like back here and her body's twisted sideways, and I'm trying to get her to encourage her to walk next to me. And finally, I sent Megan a text message and I said, "What do you suggest I do? I can't." And she sinks to the ground a lot, and she's a great dog. And she said, "Maybe you ought to try to
Your food.
Maybe you should try to put a cookie. And because I don't do it on a regular basis, I hadn't even thought about that. And sure enough, I got a couple cookies out, and she eventually gravitated next to me. And it'll just be a work in progress to get her up by my side. So anyway, a few more. I got to get out of here. Let's see here.
If you've got no more there, I have two things in a Dropbox. I have no idea what a Dropbox is or how you get them out of there.
We all share a Dropbox together. You want help with it?
Yeah, well, tomorrow then.
All right, I'll come in the morning and do it.
I haven't touched it. I don't know what to do with it.
I'll help you tomorrow. Were you able to accommodate a large amount of dogs before the puppies came? Yeah, I mean, we've always had a good amount of dogs on the property, but they were all in different stages, different age categories, so it was that feeling of never getting to every dog has always been here ever since I've been here. Megan and I have talked about it a lot, but you know, we just have a lot at the same stage, so that's what makes it challenging.
What's different is we went 6 months with nothing.
We went 6 months with nothing, and so we
So
got
we
a
don't
lot
have-
of our older dogs got a lot of time off property. But when I came to work here, we had quite a few. We had over 40. Yeah.
I don't think you ought to mention numbers like that out loud.
Oh, okay. Roughly, dog. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna call it there.
You're calling it quits? Okay.
If I didn't answer your question, I'll be happy to on Saturday.
Okay.
All right. Coming over here?